Have you ever considered getting a colorful bandana and really colorful glasses and saying "ooh
Um.
yeah" in a deep voice, yet
Oh.
raspy?
Oh yeah. Let's see here. I got glasses here. Hold on. Let me find my shade.
Hmm.
Oh yeah.
Ooh yeah! All right.
Hashtag Call of Duty is completely out of ideas.
Yeah.
Step into a
So
Call of Duty.
Oh,
on that note,
I thought you were gonna say step into a Slim Jim.
Hey guys, I'm the Philosopher, and welcome to the Console Explosion podcast, where we talk about all the news in the nerd sphere and we share opinions of it as well. Today we talk about Call of Duty. With the announcement of Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, we decided to talk about Call of Duty as a whole, share our hatred and our love of this game, and there was a lot more hate than love, but we still did share those thoughts. Many of us at TCX are not looking forward to the new Call of Duty Infinite Warfare, but I do pass that question on to you. Are you guys looking forward to Call of Duty Infinite Warfare? Why or why not? Let us know in the comments down below. But as always, I'm the Philosopher. I hope you guys enjoy the show, and thank you so much for watching.
welcome guys. You may see a familiar or a new face here. We have some familiar faces, but we also have a new guest, Paul, the bearded gamer. Is it?
Oh yeah, the bearded gamer.
Yeah. And today we're going to talk about Call of Duty. We have some people who might be more passionate about it than I am. But I did want to open up with just the headline from one of Kotaku's posts, which is people are mass disliking the new trailer for Call of Duty Infinite Warfare. Is it? Yeah. And as of right now, they have about 221,000 dislikes already on this new video, maybe more as of that post being done. So that was today at 2 p.m. And why are people not liking this game? I don't play Call of Duty anymore, so hopefully someone else can shed some light on this situation.
All right, who wants this home run? Who's going? I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go first. First off, hold on. This is supposed to be Call of Duty. Call of Duty was the term for a military term, especially during World War II, which we all know. You know, the first one, second one, third one were big in World War II. Now all of a sudden jump. I don't know how many hundreds of years in the future. Now we're in space. All of a sudden it's trying to become like a Battlefront game or for God forbid, Halo game, which I can't stand Halo.
Hey,
And I don't.
Halo wins.
Halo. Bleh, bleh. I would rather eat ketchup than to play Halo, and I hate ketchup. But to me, no. No. Just okay. The Advanced Warfare, I was getting a little nervous, and then the Black Ops 3, it's all, these guys jumping around and all flamboyant and all this, and it's more into the future. Now we're more into the future, and now we're going to possibly see space battles, even though they said the campaign's going to be better. They've been saying that for the last, 4 Call of Duties, and they all went, that's my opinion, so.
People have been hating on Call of Duty ever since after Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, right? After that, it's been a hate train since then. I mean, honestly, I pretty much stopped playing those games after Modern Warfare 2.
Mhm.
But I saw this trailer. I don't get the hate. I mean, it's something different. You see dogfights going. I mean, I get that it's getting similar to Halo, in a way, but I still don't get the hate. I honestly don't get the hate for this game. I just don't. This has been a hate train since a long time, and it's been like that because the game's pretty much been the same game for years. Just added a new coat of paint, and that's it. But this one seems to be doing something different. But the problem I see, and I hear you here on that, Paul, but I think that the problem is that in its way trying to be different, it's actually being more like other games.
Okay, sure, yeah. For me personally, like you said, after Modern Warfare 2, like Ghost, bleh. I hated Ghost. I hated the storyline. Modern Warfare 3 for me was a big killer for me. And maybe I'm not being fair to the game itself. Maybe I'm just being the build up of the hate. It just keeps building up, and now I'm just taking out on that game. Maybe, and that could be
Yeah,
it.
that could be.
You know?
This could be the big finale, explosion,
Yep.
orgasm of hatred.
Yes, exactly.
Like, oh, I mean, hate it all. Oh yeah, I hate it.
It's like, oh, I could finally release this hate, and you know, you know what? It could be a good game. It could shock the hell out of my beard. I don't know, but for me right now, when I saw that, oh my God, they're going out of Earth's atmosphere, and there's all this the Armada space fleet, and I'm like, I was pulling the rest of my hair off on top here. I should have been pulling it here. I got more hair here, but still, that was my first reaction. And plus the enemy looked like a younger version of Clint Eastwood in the movie Gran Torino. To me, it did anyway. But that's what it was for me. Still, I calmed down since then. Although I was getting a little rived up a little bit there, but it's okay. I'm cool. I'm calm now. Okay.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello.
Senor Alexander, how are you, sir?
I am doing quite nicely, thank you.
We are hating on Call of Duty. Do you hate Call of Duty?
I have a certain degree of loathing for Call of Duty. I've done a few videos on the topic.
There you go.
Yeah.
So we were talking about the new one, right? Infinite Warfare, is it?
Yeah, Infinite Warfare, Call of Duty in space!
Yeah, pretty much what it is.
Like, what's funny about this is, I find particularly funny with this being the new Infinity Ward game, I know this has been mentioned already, is back when the founders of Infinity Ward were kicked out / fired, one of the reasons why they were trying to get out of Infinity Ward in the first place is, well, they're not trying to get out of Infinity Ward, but get them Infinity Ward out from under Activision in the first place, is they wanted to get the Call of Duty series out of the modern rut and wanted to try something more science fictional. And this led to them getting, talking to agents and shopping around for going out on their own and that sort of thing. And this led to their quitting / being fired in a spectacular fashion. I think we all remember the whole news story with security guards around the Infinity Ward offices and that sort of thing. And this led to the founders going off and starting Respawn and making Titanfall to varying degrees of success. And now Call of Duty Infinity, we have Infinity Ward's second outing with Call of Duty, and it's the Call of Duty in Space game that the founders, West and Zampanella, wanted to make in the first place, which I find somewhat amusing.
Yeah. Well, I was arguing months ago that I think, to me, the series started going down after Modern Warfare 2. I don't know if you agree with that.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I think I did a video on the topic where basically Call of Duty Modern Warfare 1 and 2 were fairly well grounded in terms of in the real world kind of things. Modern Warfare 1 basically could have happened the year it came out. In fact, it was basically set the year that the game came out. In Modern Warfare 2, it was kind of Red Dawny. There was some sort of somewhat iffy elements in terms of the plausibility of the massive Russian supplies attack with enough military force to invade the United States and nobody knowing that this was coming. Predicting all the distances involved and that sort of thing. But it was executed well enough that I could kind of cut them a little slack there. It's when Modern Warfare 3 starts off with, oh, you finally pushed the Russians out. They've been forced to flee with their tail between their legs, and then they immediately turn around and fully invade Europe, going all the way from Russia to Paris, a further distance than Germany was ever able to invade in the entire duration of World War II, pretty much, in a super short amount of time, where it starts getting not just a little stupid, but extra special stupid.
Well, but here's the thing, though, right? I think Call of Duty games, their appeal is not the story, right? The story, either, as you said, some of them, the first Modern Warfare was fairly grounded, and then after that, a little bit less and less. But I, in my personal opinion, here's what happened. In the first Modern Warfare and in the second one, you had peak and valleys. What I'm saying is you had like moments of calm, and then fucking big things happening, and then you were fucking running, and then it's a big explosion, and the whole mushroom cloud. The first time you saw it, it was like very epic, right? But then it brings you down. So when the next time he brings you up, it's like very high up. It's like you feel it, right? So you are tense. This whole thing. The second one did the same thing. Problem after that is that they didn't do pick and valleys. Everything was a fucking pick, right?
Oh, absolutely agree.
You're fucking in a fucking plane. The plane crashes. Then after the crashes, it explodes. Everything's flying. It's like there's no fucking way.
It became a Michael Bay film.
Exactly. That's what happened. It became a fucking Michael Bay film without any time to breathe at all. And what happens is that desensitizes you to what's happening. So even though higher stakes are happening, more crazy things are happening around you, it just doesn't have the same impact like the first Modern Warfare had when you first saw the mushroom cloud, right?
Well, I completely agree. Modern Warfare 1 and 2 definitely give you a chance to appreciate those big moments when they happen, and also manage to make those big. Also manage to put some more subtle big moments in the quiet portions. Like for example, the
sniper
mission in Modern Warfare 1, where you're going the flashback mission with Price, where you're going into Russia, where it's tense but it's quiet. And it's a slow-paced thing, but it works because it's slow-paced, and the pace builds tension without having big explosions or anything like that.
Exactly.
The closest, I haven't really played the Black Ops series aside from the first game, and I haven't played Ghost yet. But the closest thing I've gotten outside of that's worked for me in terms of having that peaks and valleys, the sine wave of rising and falling action, is to a certain degree Advanced Warfare, where we had those talking sequences and stuff, and Modern Warfare is also one where they were actually really caring about the story enough, or at least they wanted to put the story at the forefront, because they were hiring, like, oh shoot, actor's name fell out of my head, the House of Cards guy, Kevin Spacey, to be at the forefront of this game and to be the face of this game, because if you're going to get an actor like Spacey, who's an Academy Award nominated actor, to be in your game, not just like voice but likeness, you want to have a story that's going to take advantage of him, even if he's playing a blatant, overt, scenery-chewing villain for large swaths of the game.
Yeah, but again, I mean, I might be misreading this, but I think, again, so far, and I've not played all the Call of Duties, right? But I've played fairly enough of them. I don't think the story it's the appeal of the games. I don't think they've never been that great. I mean, they are, they help you move along the game, the single player campaign, but honestly, is the story something that drives you to these games? I don't think so.
I think it's what gets people interested in the game, and because the first Modern Warfare had a great storyline, I thought. The second one was fairly fun to play, and after that, you could see that the quality of the storyline kept falling to the wayside because they saw that the multiplayer was really popular. In the beginning, it definitely was a single player experience. If you look at Call of Duty 1, 2, and 3, and it jumped. I think 3 was on the Xbox 360, the first of the Call of Duties, and that one was multiplayer. And I think that was somewhat successful, and they started doing it over and over and over again, and the storyline really fell to the wayside by the time Modern Warfare 3 came out. I thought Black Ops was very interesting with the storyline. It wasn't as realistic, but the whole plot twist with the one character was pretty interesting to me. But yeah, the storyline kept falling to the wayside in an attempt to really cater to the multiplayer, which is definitely the big market right now, if that's what you're hitting at. I definitely think the multiplayer is the big market, or is where the big bulk of where a lot of people are going with their time towards Call of Duty. But even that has, I don't know, I don't play the game anymore. Yeah.
It's getting stale. Everybody does a multiplayer. Look at Doom. Doom's coming out. It's got to have a multiplayer. Every game. What about the multiplayer? What about the multiplayer? What about the multiplayer? I mean, to me, the Call of Duty series has set that standard now.
I mean, I agree. Though to be fair with Doom, to a certain degree, you're expecting multiplayer because Doom was the first deathmatch game. I mean, they did make a big thing about.
True.
But like for example, like with BioShock Infinite, that's a game that didn't need multiplayer.
Right.
BioShock games in general did not need multiplayer. They were
BioShock 2.
And that's the worst one. Thank you very much for making the point.
Yeah. Or hell, Dead Space 3. There's a series that never needed multiplayer ever.
Yeah, that was a great single
Or
player.
not even
Yeah,
made.
it had co-op, right? A fucking horror game with co-op. It makes no fucking sense. It just makes the horror go to the sideways.
I don't mind horror games with co-op, but I'm the
No,
co-op.
I think horror games should always be a solo experience because if not,
I disagree.
Couch co-
Oh, here we go.
Couch co-op in a horror game works for me because you're getting scared together. It's
Exactly.
it's like getting with a horror movie with your friends. However, that's couch co-op. If you're going online multiplayer, you're losing that shared scary experience because couch co-op you can go together for that whole classic. Okay, the lights are off. We're the only people in the house. It's night. We can get creeped way the hell out, and it's awesome. Whereas with
Definitely.
online, that shared aspect of the experience is lessened because you're not together. You don't have that equal experience in terms of lights out by yourself, and to a certain degree, it almost becomes like MST3King to a certain degree because the disconnect.
see, to me, it's just the same way as probably horror movies. When I'm with people seeing a horror movie, the only thing that really works for me, at least, is like the jump scares. That's the only thing that really, like, everyone is just having jump scares and having fun with it. But the actual creepy things, that stuff that really makes you tremble, the only way for me is to be alone, like in the dark, watching in
Right.
with really good volume. With people, it's just more fun, the experience, than horrific, if that makes any sense, right?
Definitely. I will say one of my best experiences with a co-op scary game was Doom 3 for the original Xbox, and it wasn't split-screen co-op, but was System Link. And so we turned out all the lights and got on our cell phone because the house was justifiable enough to like get on our phone or a headset or something like that and talk. We could see each other, but we couldn't really hear each other. And it was like one of the scariest experiences to play this game. And the game was done really well. You know, one guy would have a flashlight, one guy would have a pistol. You felt very defenseless, and they did that very right. Which a lot of games, I love Resident Evil. Even 5 and 6, I find those very fun. I know they're not as good, but I get to play them with my girlfriend and get to sit down and enjoy it. It's not as scary as I remember the old ones being. And
Right.
that's one of the things about. I feel that the scary part is greatly diminished even with co-op. I feel it's hard to make a co-op game, but I'm digressing a little bit. I get excited about co-op games, so I go down a slippery slope. But to get back on topic, the multiplayer of Call of Duty has been greatly diminished, I feel, in my opinion. I kind of want, if anyone is out there that plays Call of Duty still, I'd like to know from them how they feel about the multiplayer, if they're just playing it just for the sake of playing a Call of Duty game, or if they actually do get some sort of enjoyment out of it. Because I know there's a lot of us out there who do play games and kind of just, you know, blindly play them because there's something to do, or that everyone else is playing them, sort of thing.
I'm a kind of I enjoy it, but yet sometimes I do feel like I'm just blindly playing it. I mean, I play Call of Duty 3, Black Ops 3. I got it on my PC and my PS4. But yeah, there are days it's like, this is kind of a grind. I want to get to that next level, or I want to, you know, it's double XP weekend. I got to be on there, you know. And instead of saying, you know, I just kind of want to play the game. So for me, it's been every Call of Duty is becoming, to me, definitely more watered down version of the story, and now, for my opinion, it's a more watered down version of the multiplayer. Oh, they may add a little more sparkles and a little more tricks to it or something like that, but in the same sense, it's still red versus blue. You know, if you want to go it that way. It's just to me, everyone just seems. It's getting more enjoyable unless like it's a double XP weekend for me or something like that. Then I'll play, because then obviously you get double XP to level up your guns or level up your character or your skills and stuff like that. But that's how I've been seeing it anyway. So
yeah, something I can say about my experience with Call of Duty was I loved the hell out of Call of Duty 1 because it was such a, honestly, like the way they brought iron sights into modern gaming, I thought was pretty innovative at the time. Because before that, you had the most grandiose World War II game to come out, was Battlefield, and then as far as immersive experience, it was the Medal of Honor that came out. At least the one that came out, I think Medal of Honor 3, where they had Omaha Beach, which was absolutely phenomenal. And then, so what ended up happening was you had Call of Duty 1, which had all these phenomenal historical events where the game brought you into those experiences almost cinematically. Like when you hit the beaches at Stalingrad, it was like one of the most intense cinematic kind of gameplay moments I'd ever really seen, where it was like almost straight out of the film Enemy at the Gates. So right there, it was like Call of Duty 1 pretty much had a lot of the story written for it just out of the pages of history already. So there wasn't really a whole lot they could screw up, and especially with the way they had developed the weapons for the game, what I thought was amazing about it was that it was a very fluid shooter in the sense that it wasn't like, to me, I've always found Counter-Strike irritating, the way the recoil systems and things like that work based on how you're aiming and the way the bullets come off your gun. But Call of Duty always felt like a much smoother and more cohesive shooter, at least initially. And then what ended up happening was, honestly, I thought Call of Duty 3 was probably one of the worst games ever made because of the dumb moments where you literally had to row a boat across a river. I mean, that was really innovative and amazing gameplay that they brought to the experience in that moment. And that was where the Call of Duty franchise broke in my mind as being just not worth it. And Advanced Warfare was decent, but I thought the writing for that one was just ludicrous, in the sense that like an American general would lose his mind and eventually start waging a secret war against all these other countries and crap like that to spur on a conflict between the United States and Russia. It was just it got more and more ridiculous, and they never bothered to check themselves on where their writing was going.
That was Modern Warfare 3, but yeah.
Yeah, my bad. But it was just one of those things where like the writing just got so ridiculous. I'm like, I can't even enjoy this because of how stupid the story's getting. Like, I'll admit that when they did the airport mission where they tried to make it very risque and make a very interesting statement about modern terrorism, I still thought the fact that the reason the Russians went to war was based on the fact that one of the terrorists had an American connection, which I thought was one of the most ridiculous kind of jumps ever, where you would literally risk atomic annihilation over the death of citizens in an airport. I thought it was absolutely ridiculous. It's just one of those things where the story just slowly went downhill after, because Call of Duty 1, it was just fantastic. 2 was like, okay, we're in North Africa. I mean, they could have done more with it, in my opinion, considering American forces absolutely got the crap kicked out of them in certain situations. That would have been really interesting to bring into the gameplay, where you can't win. Like fighting at the Khyber Pass against the Germans would have been really intriguing if they brought that into the game, where no matter what, you lose the mission just based on the way the situation was. But they didn't really do that. They just had you attack cities in the desert, which I thought was kind of not very innovative. But then the latest one, it was almost like watching the trailer. It looked a hell of a lot like Killzone 2. And the fact that they're carrying the war into space to invade another planet. And I'm like, this is... man, the way they're doing the science fiction and the way they're writing the story, I think is just really dumb.
So I think everyone is in agreement that pretty much the Call of Duty games are now dead. So I was wondering, do you guys have like a cool moment that you remember from these games? In my case, I don't recall which one it was, but it was one of the I think it was probably the first one or the second one, where you're, I think, in Russia, and you're climbing the uphill, and then you're just in a line, and they will give you like one guy a rifle, and then the next guy bullet. Yeah, that was fucking. And then every time you go, it's like they give you the fucking bullets only. Yeah. Oh man, that to me was like one of the moments. So like, oh my god, these games are, hitting you emotionally, putting you exactly in the middle of a conflict that I don't think before I don't remember feeling that way, that real of a conflict that in that moment. But I don't know what you guys think. Do you have a cool moment like that?
I got a couple. Modern Warfare, or in original Call of Duty, I have a different bit from the end of the game. But it is on the Soviet campaign. It's the storming of the Reichstag, where basically the emotional and narrative climax and catharsis of the game, where the Soviet troops storming the Nazi Parliament, the German Parliament, and raising the Soviet flag above it. It's a great historical moment. And it was a very well done scene. Through the real actual event, it was like 15 different people who got shot on the way to carrying the flag up, but they eventually got it. And also kind of a gutsy move where in the past, for like these various games, like for example, we talked about Battlefield, we talked about Medal of Honor, where they give these big narrative moments to American people, and not just giving it to not an American soldier, but also a soldier in an army who we ended up being in a conflict with later, not an actual shooting war conflict, but in terms of on the other side of the Cold War with. And I thought that was a kind of neat and slightly gutsy move to do that, and I appreciated them doing that. Other than that, I did it's not so much a intentionally good moment, but a kind of unintentionally funny moment in the game was when I was playing Advanced Warfare, and I came to the realization that the game's story was based off the Book of Revelations, and I found that kind of funny. I don't think that was intentionally so on the part of the game's creators, but it was still. But I got a chuckle out of that.
What do you mean?
Okay, with the focus of the conflict being in the Middle East, the bad guy having a nano imprint thing where he has this virus where anyone who doesn't have this nano imprint is killed. Basically, this nano thing is the mark of the beast and that sort of stuff. There's a few other bits to that, with basically Kevin Spacey's character being not a literal antichrist, but a metaphorical antichrist in a science fictional sense. And it has a moment of, oh, I see what you did there. It's kind of stupid, but I see what you did there.
Nice. Now, what about you, Paul?
Oh God, my personal
press
favorite.
X to respect.
My personal favorite's gotta be Call of Duty Black Ops, the first one, because you got the huge success of Modern Warfare 2, which was modern, all modern weapons and everything like that. Then they take a step back, and they actually even tied in with the Ghost from Call of Duty 3 with the Russian spy. I remember he's chasing a ghost and everything like that, and you go back in the 80s, but yet you see Cuba trying to assassinate Castro and everything like that. They actually took a step back, and I thought that was kind of a risk, because they know Modern Warfare 2, hey, these are modern weapons, we got everything like that, and then all of a sudden they're stepping back, I don't know, 20, 30 some years, if not even 40 years. And to me, that was cool, and I thought, all right, you know what, I think the series has got a little more staying power. And then I don't know, and after that it kind of went, yeah, although Black Ops 2 still is one of my favorites too, besides Modern Warfare 2. But then you got Ghost and all that, and they come around and they just dampened my parade after that. So
I thought the fact that they brought in like the Bay of Pigs invasion into Black Ops 1. Yeah, I actually
Black Ops 1. Yep.
I played the multiplayer for it, and I thought it was actually decently solid on how the shooters were put together for that one. But yeah, I thought it was pretty cool they put the Bay of Pigs in there, and that was a neat little tidbit of history a lot of people don't know about.
Right.
Yeah, I actually do like that they did put that narrative twist in there in a way where it encouraged you to play through the game again in a fashion not just, oh, I'm going to step up the difficulty 1 degree higher, but like, okay, I saw this twist. I think they laid clues for it earlier. I'm going to play the game story again so I can look for the clues. That was a nice little touch. That was probably like there aren't a lot of games which necessarily do that, some more than others, like System Shock. But not that I'm comparing, not that I'm saying Black Ops 1 and System Shock are of equal, System Shock 2 are of equivalent story. But it's nice of them to do that thing. It was something they didn't have to do since they're doing a Michael Bay level story, but they did it, and props to them for that.
Actually, I'm surprised nobody mentioned anything about the zombies being its own thing too. Aren't there players out there that just get it just to play zombies?
No, zombies ain't cool anymore.
Ooh,
It's all about vampires.
Vampires?
What?
I I'm surprised about the zombie thing too, because like I do agree with Black Ops 3, their big celeb stuff wasn't in the story mode. We're talking about we cast Jeff Goldblum in the story mode. No, we cast Jeff Goldblum for the zombie mode.
Right.
Who did he play?
He was like the stage magician in like the 1920s or 30s vignette or whatever.
Yep.
Crazy. The zombies was fun, but that wasn't the highlight for me. It was mainly playing with my friends. But I do remember one thing, and it wasn't really anything about the story. It was I was stuck on Call of Duty either 1 or 2, Modern Warfare 1 or 2, I can't remember. But you're at the Ferris wheel trying to protect the dude who you're dragging around and whatnot. And I swear I spent 2 or 3 damn days trying to beat this one part of the game, and it was killing me. It was making me so mad. Like I sat there for like 2 hours. I suck at shooters, and I think I had it on hard like an idiot. And finally beating that was like the best feeling. That's the only thing I can remember from Call of Duty besides the multiplayer is that one damn level. Oh my god, that made me so pissed off. But beating that was like one of the best feelings ever. I felt very accomplished afterwards. All that hard work and not like quitting the game. I was like, no, I'm gonna beat this thing, and this game is gonna go fuck off, and I'm gonna do it. And I did it. That's my story.
There you go.
What about you, Tyler? Do you got anything?
Well, I remember my friend invited me to a midnight launch that he wanted to go because he was so afraid to go alone. And once I got there, I saw this big, massive line of people, like a mile long. And I was like, look all this worthless souls for this pathetic game.
Oh, shocker!
God! Oh my God! Hey, I know a lot of bars that have dead furries around.
I never cared for Call of Duty. The only time I ever played Call of Duty and willing to play Call of Duty was Call of Duty 2, I think, but I think I had like the big red one on the Xbox.
Oh yeah.
And I don't really remember much from it, but that's about the only Call of Duty I was willing to invest my time in.
That was a console. That was a console only one, I think.
I don't know. It wasn't that memorable really because I do remember when I first started the game, you're in this battlefield, you gotta go shoot these people, but then it got to a point that no matter what you do, I think no matter how many people you kill, they'll keep coming back, and the only way to beat the level was to die. And I think the rest of the game is actually your flashback of your whole life passing by you. That's what I think the whole game was, but not 100% sure since I haven't played that game in who knows how long.
That's an interesting narrative conceit, but I do remember that game getting kind of middle of the road reviews and stuff. It was coming around the time where the World War II shooter was kind of getting burnout.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was okay, but it was nothing really memorable about it. Now, I did the same guy who told me to go to this midnight launch with him. He kept trying to get me to play Call of Duty, but every time I play, I think I get killed in 3 shots.
That's about right, especially playing hardcore.
In real life, it's usually 1.
Right.
I was thinking, this is not Halo. Where's my force shield? Where's my plasma grenade? Oh wait, but
Halo.
Okay, fine.
What about you, Ian? What about you, Ian?
How about Quake 3 then?
Which one?
I really enjoyed Quake 3 when I was in high school.
Quake 3.
Let the man talk. Let the man talk.
Yeah, Ian, what about you? What's a good memory for you of the game?
For me, one of my favorite things ever was when I was playing, I think, Modern Warfare 2 or whatever one it was. But I remember, shit-talking so progressively hard in that game while I was playing it that I eventually got banned from every server that had, kids in it, and I was so happy. And then I was relegated. I was relegated to the servers where everyone just shit-talked all the time. And it was just this fantastic experience of all of us just shit-talking to each other. And then I would proceed to run around the map and point-blank noob-tube people.
Yeah.
Just to be an asshole. And those are some of my best memories of Call of Duty. And like I would only play hardcore because one of the things that is absolute pet peeve of mine is when you empty a clip into somebody and every single round is a hit and they don't go down, I lose my goddamn mind. Because ultimately, like one bullet in the shoulder and you're on your ass. You're not getting up and moving for a while. Especially if it's a 2-2-2 or a 2-2-3 round or a 5-5-6, depending if you want to say the military name for it. That shit tumbles and it just rips you apart on the inside. So I'm like, no, you're not getting up from that.
Ouch.
I had a bit of a good shit talk story for Modern Warfare 1. It was I forget the name of the mode, but you're protecting the base. And these two guys on my team were running around shit talking each other about, oh, you suck. No, you suck. No, you're not helping the team. You're not helping the team. I'm in the base. I'm the only guy in the base. I'm watching all the doors, and nobody's in the base except me. I'm like, dude, I'm the only one watching the base. How about you two shut the fuck up, know your role, and come over here and protect the base? Dead silence. They never said another word for the rest of the match.
Yeah.
Busted.
That's it's kind of sad that I have to say that I think this, but the shit talking in that game was like the most therapeutic part of playing Call of Duty. I feel, allowing yourself to be an asshole for like a half an hour to these damn shitty kids. Which that actually brings me to my next topic, because Antonio, you made a point of like there's not many valleys anymore. It's like all peaks. It's all like action, fast paced, all the damn time, and that makes me wonder. I know the game is rated mature, but a lot of kids play this game. I'm wondering if they're catering less to older people and catering more to the younger generation who, they want all the time instant action. They want all the time stimulation going on all the damn time. Do you think that's a possibility that they're kind of catering to the younger generation? Because someone is still playing this game. They're still making them.
Yeah, but sales are dropping, and they are dropping fast.
Ooh.
Well, because unfortunately they've approached it along the lines of Madden almost, where they have to release a new Call of Duty game every year. And it's at the point now where they're literally recycling animations from prior game releases, and they're not really doing anything that innovatively different to draw my attention. And based on the games I've played with them, their storytelling abilities are not that good. Because, ever since Call of Duty 1, it's just been this kind of downhill story perspective. I'll give World at War was really good, but then again, that was also done by a different studio. So, that would explain why the gameplay and story was better. But for me at this point, I would just love for him to go back to World War II and maybe revisit some of the same battles we were at with better graphics and higher intensity, because I would love to see those done again.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of different stories that I personally don't even know about that they could explore.
I agree. Also, I think part of the reason with the drop-off as well is I suspect a lot of the kids who are playing it, and admittedly they may be doing these narrative concessions to try to appeal to, they're probably just going straight for the multiplayer. This might even lead to some of the drop-off as well, because you have stuff like Blacklight Tango Down, you have that, what was that shooter that the Crisis team did? The free-to-play online shooter that the Crisis team did, that plays a lot like the Call of Duty games. And so if you create a situation where, like, if you have a lot of games providing a very similar, if not identical form of multiplayer with a lower barrier to entry, then that creates a big situation where your sales points are going to drop off. Because if you have people coming just for the multiplayer, and they can get something just like that for effectively free, maybe with spending a bit for gun unlocks or stuff or whatever on their console or on Steam or what have you, then they'll do that.
Team Fortress 2. Yep.
Yeah. Not even just Team Fortress 2, like, I mentioned Blacklight. I played that for a little bit, and like all of the gun upgrades, you can buy them with in-game money, but you have to level up a bunch and grind for a whole bunch of in-game cash. Otherwise, you fork over $5-10 on your mom's credit card for a whole bunch of in-game in-game gold, and then I can unlock a ton of guns and have my new tube or my gold-plated M16 or whatever, stupid whale bling, and then use that, and that $5 or $10 in in-game gold is still less than $60 for a full-price game.
Yeah, right.
Hmm. And you are right about other games kind of using the same formula because I've actually been more of a Battlefield guy for the most part of it. I love 1942. Yeah, 1942. I love Battlefield Bad Company 1 and 2. Those are fantastic. Battlefield 2 was enjoyable because I still had friends that I played it with, but then they just kind of went closer and closer. The lines between Call of Duty and Battlefield started blurring to me. The only thing that I liked about it was it had vehicles and bigger maps, but
All right.
it I don't know. It just felt like it wasn't the same because even Battlefield, it seems like it comes out every year or every other year, and it's not the same. I'm excited to play Halo just because I want to give it a go for nostalgia's sake. But even that game, I feel it has gone the same route where it's doing this sort of cookie cutter sort of thing to get it out. But I don't know. I haven't played Halo yet. I haven't seen much gameplay on it. It looks fun, but it just seems like a lot of shooters are kind of hitting this weird. I don't want to say critical mass, but they just need to do something different. And I mean, you have games like Overwatch and I would call Smite one as well. Even it's more of a third-person shooter, beat 'em up action game.
I don't think that's apples and apples, man.
It's somewhere in there. I mean, I don't
Can I-
want to. It's not a first-person shooter, but I mean, like you have these games that are blurring. You have these MOBAs mixing with shooters. Is what I'm getting
Oh
at.
yeah, like Battleborn. Battleborn's one.
Yeah,
you know?
Battleborn, Overwatch. I'm not sure how that game actually plays. I think that might be somewhat similar. Or it might just be more of a team death or what's that game called? Team Fortress.
Yeah,
Yeah.
from what I've seen, it looks more like TF2 in terms of
Yeah.
Okay.
character-based team shooter.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say something though that really fucking makes me crazy?
No.
Especially now where we are supposed to have this much tech going on. And you, Tyler, I love you. No, what I was gonna say is it's what like really makes me mad is seeing new games where you have your shooters, right? And sometimes you just like to fuck around with the game and start shooting the walls and whatever, and you start spreading these bullets, and then you'll start to see some of the bullets that you hit start disappearing, right? And the damage, it's just not there. It's just like it's a small thing, but it takes me out of the game completely when I see stuff like that. I mean, we should already have. I mean, for how long can we still continue to have this fucking cliches on games that people don't pay attention to? I mean,
We have
You've
to make it
had-
realistic as possible. You ever shot something in real life?
Well,
The
I-
bullets disappear.
I mean, I can cut some slack for the battle damage disappearing because, like, particularly when you're dealing with like multiplayer and stuff, you have to have a certain degree of server management and stuff to keep track of that stuff. And I can just imagine behind the scenes, that's in terms of on a code standpoint, that's got to be freaking nuts to try and figure out. And you got to clear that out at some point, otherwise, it's going to.
but what about a single player though?
I mean,
Well-
even then, you have to keep track of. Like, you have to keep that information in RAM. Like, if you have 100,
I know. You have 8 gigs of RAM now. Use
that's
the fucking.
well. It's. I mean, depending on how big, how big the rest of the stuff in the game is, that keeping track of the tech. You need to have different texture files and stuff for all of each of those battle damage bits. So at which point we stopped tipping away from the 8 gigs of RAM and maybe perhaps needing 128 gigs of RAM. And my motherboard ain't that
We've
big
seen it
yet.
already in games on the PS3 that had the destructible environments, that had stuff like that. Well, it remembered all the hits that you did. Even in a Battlefield game, they had that. I mean,
Yeah,
now
There's
They
two different things
construct
happening.
I mean,
And
they
then-
destruct it in different ways. If you looked at, for example, say Red Faction, this is where this kind of battle damage stuff started. You can destroy certain areas of the environment, and if you look at how it kind of breaks the same way, or a few different ways each time.
well, but here's the thing. That was because the processing power was not there, because you need to do a lot of calculations to make that happen.
It still hasn't. It's increased a bunch, but not that much by comparison. You're still having to do the same thing. You still have to create sort of the same degree of art assets. I wish we were there. I really were.
I think if people just wanted to do it, they could. It's just a matter that they wanted to do it. I think we have the resources to do it in terms of processing power. Now, we had it before, we have it better now, so it's just a matter of people wanting to do it.
They do, and think about this, like, Spec Ops The Line had 12 different types of sand. Because of that pushing the physics limits of games. But I think ultimately what happens right now is there are certain drawbacks to that type of gameplay mechanic where, I don't know, like Red Faction, I always found that game to be kind of floaty. Like, it wasn't like a smooth, cohesive shooter.
It was more like Grand Theft Auto to me.
Yeah, like Grand Theft Auto, Grand Theft Auto's fun, but I still wouldn't say it's like a solid shooter. I think it's just kind of fun.
It's a sandbox game.
Yeah. It's definitely the case where if you're designing a game with this mechanic, this destructible environment mechanic, if you have a particular narrative or flow to your level in mind, having an environment that destructible can really screw with that. And from like, oh, the main character decided, the player decided just to blow up the building, which means he can't hit the flag up on the third floor or whatever to do the next thing to progress the level because there's no third floor anymore. So, we have,
I understand what you guys are saying. It will fucking just mess everything up. But very, very small things, as I said before, why disappear? Let's make it as you can't destroy a building. But again, why, if you are fucking spreading your bullets all over the place, why those bullets, that damage, it starts to disappear? Just leave it there.
Okay, my guess for that one is they probably expect a certain size of level, or the player wants a certain size of level in terms of the actual each map file, where the point where you go to point A, point B, when you cross point B, it loads the next map and you're cut off from going back. And it has to keep track of all of that information. And if they did that, and they certainly could do that. In order to have the file be a size where it doesn't cause the game to chug on lower-end machines, for example, it would probably require the maps to be smaller than they want for what they're trying to do. I completely understand, though. I mean, a game that did what you're saying would probably be the next game where everyone. You remember when Crysis was the game where everyone's benchmarking their PCs back on, oh, well, does it run Crysis? I could see a game that did that being the next, oh, does it run Bullet Hole Simulator?
Does it run Call of Duty Infinite?
Mm-hmm.
I say the moral of the story is lazy programmers, because they're not people.
What about the money factor?
I want to make a point there real quick. Is that the reason they don't do that, or part of the reason, is because every bullet hole that's there is information. And if they don't, at some point, limit, one of two things are going to happen almost every time. Either they're going to slowly dissipate and get rid of that information so they can clear up space for more important things so the game can run smoothly, or they're going to have some sort of number cap of how many bullet holes there are, and that also takes you away from it a lot quicker. Certain games have tried doing that, where it can only have 200 bullet holes, but you could easily do 200 bullet holes with a fully loaded machine gun, not only with you, but with the AI shooting at you. Are you going to have just you, or are you going to have the AI as well making bullet holes? It's a lot of information that needs to be stored and stay there, and it's not that important.
But we have a lot of RAM now to work on. I can bet you everything right now that those 8 gigs that we have, let's say you have 6 available for your game, because you're going to have 2, when in reality it's only 1 that they're using for the operating system in the PS4 and Xbox. Let's say it's 6. Out of that 6, I bet you whatever you want that they're not using even half of it on these games right now. It's just
as far as the memory requirements for storing that much information with the bullet holes, and let's just add on top of that persistent corpses in level environments. That's one of the other big sticking points in long-term running.
Yes, it is a fucking sticking point. You're right.
I will accept your challenge on this. That I expect that there is that particularly when dealing with engines, because we're not most companies, unless they're id or Epic or whoever it is who makes Unity, they're not rolling their own engines. And so...
games like, for persistent corpuses, Dead Space had that. They had persistent corpses. Not only that, the corpses, you could, pretty much pick them apart for I don't know how many pieces, and they will always be there, even if you go after the game, after you load new chapters and you go back and whatever, you will still see them there, exactly how you left them. So, and this is back in the PS3 where you had 512 megabytes of RAM. Now you have 8 gigs, and for whatever fucking reason now, still corpses disappear. No, fuck these guys. I mean, it's just they don't want to do it. That's what it is.
I want to raise you bodies and bullet holes, and I also want to raise you I want to see shell casings.
Yes.
The shell casings left over from when you have a firefight.
Yes.
Now that would blow up a computer.
Yeah.
No,
I want to
it
see
wouldn't.
sweat.
No, it wouldn't. I'm telling you guys, we can do it now. It's just a matter of people wanting to do it.
And save it for VR. Save it
Oh,
for virtual reality.
Yeah, let's do it all at 60 frames per second twice on 2 eyes.
Yeah.
I agree with you, Antonio, that one, it does take away from the experience, or take you out of the experience, and two, it is possible. It's just there's not a big enough logical reason for them to do so just yet. I think at some point we are going to reach to where we do that, but it's just not that important to the majority to do that. I do pay attention to those details as well. That's why I know, and it's one of the things that I asked when I was going to school for this sort of thing. But I have to play devil's advocate, but two, it does suck. And
I know, and I get it. It's just people just want to play the game. They will probably.
Oh.
What was that?
They were probably what?
You stopped for a second and made a weird face.
You smell toast? Are you okay? Moral of the story, lazy programmers and budgetary probably restrictions don't allow them to program to the full extent of the systems, and ultimately I think a lot of game developers haven't had access to the full potential of PS4s and Xbox Ones for at least the time being. I mean, we're reaching that 2-year point into the system cycle where they should be maximizing the potential of the systems, but ultimately they're not. They're not pushing to the edge of what these systems are capable of doing. And I think it just becomes they're lazy, and they know they can make an inferior product and get away with selling it.
Yeah, but they don't even need to maximize the consoles for that. Ultimately, I think what it is just time, and if it makes sense to work on that or not, right? And I agree that for most people this is not a problem. It's just for fucking OCD people like me that just are looking for shit like that. And my personal opinion, it just takes, when I do stuff like that and I see it, it takes me out of the game completely when I see stuff like that.
I do agree it's a time thing, and I also suspect, I will say it's probably more closer as far as when you start seeing the full potential of a console being realized, probably more around the 4-year mark. This just going from looking at my average from with me doing my Nintendo Power retrospectives and looking at how things played out in the NES's lifespan, how things played out in the Super Nintendo's lifespan, and for them, the PlayStation's lifespan, where things get really nuts usually around the 4 or 5-year mark, where people start figuring out all the little ins, outs, and other fiddly bits in the consoles or in engines that they did before. Probably the other thing here is the engine technology keeps advancing so much and so quickly that you're not just learning the ins and outs and eccentricities of a particular piece of hardware, whether it's the figuring out all the things you can do with the Genesis's FM synthesis sound chip, or what stuff you can do with the fact that the original Xbox is effectively a PC turned into a console, but also, now we're not just learning what our hardware can get away with, it's now we're learning what the hardware can get away with this version of Unreal, or this version of Unity, or this version of the id Tech engine, or whatever the hell Bethesda calls the engine for their RPGs, or that sort of thing. How big can mega textures actually be? I'm the only person who remembered mega textures.
Very big. Wait, explain megatexture, because I might know what it is, but under a different name.
That was from Rage.
God, Rage. I hated that game.
Rage.
Okay, I gotta say something really quick. So, I wanted to like Rage. I really did. And what pissed me off the most was popping people in the head and they wouldn't drop.
Yeah.
I hated that so much. I'm like, come on, man. Like, how hard is it to put that, like, pop a dude in the eye with a 45 caliber round? Come on.
Yeah.
Broke
I
me
guess
nuts.
it's
So that
very
took me out of the game so bad.
They even drop on Call of Duty games. Headshot, boom, dead. You get
Yeah,
points.
same thing.
Well,
Yeah, like
I got-
any other game in the world, headshot. Even in freaking Overwatch, headshot,
Yep,
they're down.
headshot, you're down.
What if they had a helmet on?
Don't matter.
I mean, what if they had the force field?
Well, you
Like
realize
Halo?
like 90,
No, we're talking about Halo.
Tyler, 90% of helmets are only designed to stop shrapnel. They really don't stop direct hits from bullets all that well. Just saying.
I mean, and for good reason, because to be fair, direct hits from bullets, headshots, they're not hard. I admit they haven't had that much range time, but they're not exactly the easiest thing in the world. They're not as easy to get as they are in video games.
To be fair, 90% of all soldiers on the planet are trained to shoot center mass. They're not trained to make headshots. I mean, it's pretty much only snipers are trained to do that. Otherwise, you're wasting ammo.
And sometimes even the trained snipers, they go for that neck shot right in here.
Oh, neck,
You know, they
but
don't-
ultimately, if you nail somebody in center mass in this area,
Oh, yeah.
you hit them in the heart.
You're
That's
done.
clean. Like you hit somebody in the brain, they might still function for a bit. Hit them in the heart, they're done in 3 seconds.
I know a lot of people that still function when they get hit in the brain. Be like, oh, what's for dinner?
Oh. What if they were a doctor and they did surgery on themselves?
Yeah. In the 3 seconds before they lose consciousness from lack of blood. Yeah, that's how it goes. Yeah.
I want that
got
doctor.
But
I
they're
think I read
trained, right?
I think I read that issue of Blackjack.
To answer your question about megapixels, mega textures,
Megapixels.
megapixels. No, what it is, it's a way to efficientize memory consumption on your RAM. The only thing it is that instead of every single object having its own textures, everything you're seeing at the point, loading at the point, it's one texture. That it's like you're seeing a picture, right? Instead of, again, loading every single texture for every single object, and that's supposed to.
That's not I remember them describing the mega textures in Rage as being, because if you do it that way, you can't. It's hard to do physics objects like boxes and cars and that sort of thing. I think what they were talking about with Rage was like super high resolution textures where like the concrete wall looks like almost photorealistic concrete kind of thing.
No, but
I might be thinking something else.
No, but that's not really what it is. What it is just they're calling mega textures because it's just one big texture. What that you're seeing. It's not that it had like fucking huge textures. No, it's not really that. It's just a matter for them to maximize RAM usage, because at that point, and this is why right now you're not hearing about that anymore, because we are not suffering for RAM anymore. But back on the PS3, Xbox 360, we did. 512 megabytes was really taxing on game development. So they came out with this engine so that they could be able to load faster and the games be more smoother, because you're not using as much RAM. Again, using just one big mega texture instead of a lot of textures that you have to load in RAM at the same time.
You're right. Okay, I misunderstood when I read the PR stuff. To be fair, they didn't explain that very well originally.
They didn't.
To be fair, megapixel is a wonderful PR catchphrase. Just like blast
Megatexture.
processing, things like that. It just draws people in. And I wanted to like Rage, and that game was just.
You wanted to rage, then you raged.
Like rage into the night and play this game, and no, just rage away after spending $60 on a game you're really disappointed with.
Yeah, but Antonio, you're not the only one that notices stuff like that, by the way, with the bullet holes and stuff. I spent like a good 20 minutes when I played Gears of War 1 or 2 on the rain level, just watching the water, like the path of the water and everything. I would do stuff like that. A lot of games, it irritated the fuck out of me. At the time, I didn't know why they did it, but they would use like textures of like a bundle of fruit. So you'd have like a basket-shaped item, but then you'd have like an image of a bunch of fruit instead of actual a whole bunch of fruit. I'm like, why the fuck did they do that? Like, why didn't they just put actual fruit in there? And that kind of stuff took me out of it. Resident Evil's really big on that. 4 and 5 did that one. And I was in school when 5 came out, and I remember that, and I was like, oh, that's why they do that, you bastards.
Yeah.
But yeah, I noticed stuff like that. It does drive me crazy as well. I know more so why they do it, but it doesn't have to be logical why I don't like it. But yeah, as time goes on, technology is going to get a lot better, I think. But somehow that last hour went by so fast. What happened there? Call of Duty, the hatred of Call of Duty made time go by a lot faster than it should have.
Hey,
I just want them to go back to World War II and just have fun with all the graphics and potential they could do with that, and that'd be just absolutely epic and grandiose.
I want them to bring back force fields.
When were force fields
Wait,
ever?
Oh, in Star Wars, Galaxy far.
I was actually
I'm
thinking,
sure they have the opportunities force fields in Call of Duty Infinity.
I was actually thinking energy shields.
I know you're thinking of Halo, but
Falcon flying around.
But yeah, I also want to thank my Alexander, I think you've been on the show once before, and then Paul, this is your first time on the show.
Yep.
So thank you guys for joining. First off, if you can, we'll start with Alexander. If you can tell us what you do real quick, and then where they can find you as well, so that everyone knows what you do.
All right, so I have 2 shows on my YouTube channel. Account at youtube.com/user/count0or. Let me bring this up to make sure I know whether there's an underscore in there or not. But I have 2 shows. I have Breaking It All Down, which is a sort of general purpose review show, and I have the Nintendo Power Retrospectives, which is basically a show where I'm going through every single issue of Nintendo Power. I'm going to review every featured game in the magazine. So not necessarily like, oh, this one-off game that's in a pack watch or a now playing column, but every game that gets a guide in the magazine, and also any game that makes it into the top 20 or top 30 in there. I have currently reached the Super Nintendo era of Nintendo Power, so lots of fun stuff there. I'm currently working on putting together episode 56. I've already recorded episode 55. It will be going out in later this month on the 11th. And so 56 is currently being worked on, and 56... It's a good thing I'm using emulators for gameplay capture on this, because I'm going to be covering Little Samson and Felix the Cat.
Oh, I can help you with those. Well, with Samson.
I mean, I've got the ROMs for them. It's as far as physical copies.
Well, no, Tyler actually has a physical copy of Little Samson, which is
really?
Unbelievable.
Nice. All right, making bonds here on the show. I'm happy now. What about you, Paul? What do you do, and where can they find you?
Wow, that's impressive. I'm not as busy as that. Well, I'm the bearded gamer. I do somewhat game reviews. I also do like weird news on my YouTube channel, The Bearded Gamer. I'm the #1 look channel for The Bearded Gamer. There's a lot of imitators out there, but there's the only true one right here. Also, I do a lot of live streaming on my YouTube channel, and I also do part of the Twitch stream here in the Council Xplosion, which actually I will be twitching tonight at 10:30 Central Time. Yep, I'm just deciding what I do. It's May the 4th, so do I do a Star Wars game?
Ooh.
Or I got the Overwatch here all downloaded, so I might do an open beta on that. That might be a good one. I'm not sure, though.
Nice.
Kind of deciding. So, yep, I do, like I said, I do weird news, I do game reviews, somewhat game reviews. I do a lot of bitching, a lot. I mean, it's just in my nature. It just naturally flows through me. So I do a lot of that, especially on my channels and stuff like that, and live streaming too, because it's live. What the hell? Anyway, so that's me, the Bearded Gamer.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And yeah, definitely check out his stream tonight. I have hopped on there a few times. It's very fun. He's a very energetic guy, just like he is on here. What about you, Antonio? What do you do, and where can they find you?
Well, I'm just there.
Oh, he's just
Antonio's
No,
just
that's-
this guy, you know?
just there, just having fun. No, they can find me on YouTube. I do retro reviews, hence the name Gokado Retro Reviews. I believe I recently changed the name of the YouTube page to YouTube/C/Gokado Retro Reviews, only one word. And Twitter, you can tweet at me at Gokadito, GOKIKADITO. And of course at the Console Explosion.
boom. All right, Ian.
Boom!
I forgot to turn on my stupid banner the entire thing. I'm done.
Don't worry, same here.
Yeah, you can
Fired.
find me. Yeah, I do whatever. It's kind of all over the place as far as game reviews, video reviews, dumb convention videos where I abduct people and murder them. And then, what? Yeah, what? I would say that. Yeah, you can find me at my own website, historicnerd.com, or you can find me on YouTube, Historic Nerd, or if you want to bug me directly, at historical nerd on twitter.com. Yeah.
And Tyler.
Yes, you can find me on YouTube, the Video Game Hunter 32, or Hot Anime 32. They will both take you straight to the same channel.
That's the only way I search for you.
Yeah, I also stream every Monday on the Console Explosions, pretty much whatever games I've been meaning to play, and also have another stream on my YouTube channel, the Furry Fridays, where I play nothing but furry games like animals or anthropomorphics. And also, I don't want to mention my Twitter, but I have a Twitter at VGH32, and I also will draw once in a while. Currently, we are drawing something for Antonio I cannot reveal yet, but
Oh yes.
oh yes,
It's
we
gonna
can.
be fun. It's gonna be topical.
It's gonna be fun, and I'm gonna be animating the mouth, and my roommate actually helped on this, so we'll see how this turns out.
It looks that first sketch looks fucking amazing. So.
Yes, he was supposed to sketch more today, but he got too lazy and decided to play Destiny instead.
Oh man, Destiny. What?
Yeah, he was in my room the whole day playing Destiny.
Oh yeah, Jared loves that game. He was talking about how he loves it so much. I remember that. Yeah. All right. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, definitely check out these guys. They are all very awesome and do cool stuff. So I think you should go check them out. I'll try to put links down to their shows in the show notes. But you can also find me. I'm the Philosopher. Facebook.com/Philosopher. Twitter and YouTube at the Philosopher. But of course, always on the Console Explosion podcast. If you guys are watching this live, please go ahead and hit that like button for us. If you haven't already, subscribe to our channel. And if you are watching this on YouTube, let us know what you thought about Call of Duty. Are you excited for the new one? Are you done with it? Do you think it's bullshit? Do you just not care? Let us know down below, and I will see you guys in the next one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.